Hello and welcome back, and that is right, it is Amazon Prime Day once again. It's their own kind of private Black Friday. They knock out halfway through the year. It is when they celebrate their birthday, I believe, but moreover, it is when you can get some decent deals. And of course, although there is some good deals there, there's also a lot of chaff kind of knocking around there in the background. And what I do every time I see one of these big seasonal deals again, like Black Friday or Prime Day, is I look at things that I'm going to be featuring here on the channel and buy them while they're a little bit dirt cheap. Or I look at things that I've already reviewed and go, that's pretty good. And I make a video like this where I share the things that I would personally buy or I'm going to buy after the recording, which I'll highlight later, here in a single video. Real quick, again, I've tried to cover as many regions as I can based on, you guys watching, but I will highlight that at the time of recording this video, the Canadian Amazon Prime page is not open yet. I will be doing an updated video on this, hopefully tomorrow morning, and I will include a bunch of Canadian deals on there, if there are any that I can find, and let you guys know. But ultimately, this is predominantly US, UK, Germany, France, Australia, all of them, all in this big video here. So let's crack on. Actually, before we go any further, all of the deals that I've mentioned today, along with other deals that the other community people that follow NAS Compares have all been added to this page here. So again, you can upload, download, you can add your own deals there you think are appropriate. On top of that, again, it does highlight you have to say what the deal is. And although this page isn't strictly modded, myself and Eddie do check it every hour or so and make sure we remove any of the spammy stuff that's on there. But there's a lot of good deals on there that have appeared either just before Prime Day when there's some build-up ones, lightning deals, and more. But again, all of the stuff I'm going to talk about today is added on there. So straight away, let's go to the US. Probably one of the best Synology deals there is this. This is that little mesh router there now that you can use the ML2200 with the new Synology RT6600. $100 or $99 for one of these is actually a pretty sweet deal. I've got a video in the works at the moment showing the coverage and performance. Again, hopefully that video is going to be live on either Friday or Monday of next week. But again, 100 nicker for one of these to add a Wi-Fi hotspot, and it's a decent little mesh point as well. Now it works with SRM 1.3. Moving forward from that, TerraMaster's 10 gigabit Ethernet NAS is now $479, and again, that is a Intel quad-core powered 10 gigabit Ethernet NAS, and they've updated their firmware to OS 5 recently. Even if you don't want to use their software, you can install a little USB, bung on modified TrueNAS, bung on Unraid, bung on Exponology, one way or another, for a 10 gigabit Ethernet NAS. That is pretty sweet a price. Carrying on, I mentioned a few days ago about recommended SSDs, I would say, for people upgrading their PS5. And one of the unsung heroes is this one, a Sony subsidiary company called Next Storage. And for a 1 TB drive, 109, and this is a 176 layer high durability, high performance SSD. I rate this SSD. It rated in my testing and it rated in my review, and it includes a heatsink, and again is, although it's not, I would say, endorsed by Sony like WD in the last 24 hours, I've got the seal of approval there to have the PlayStation label. They've got the Sony labeling. It's a decent little SSD for PS5. And probably moving over to the UK here, we can look at some storage drives. I looked at a few different drives. And if you're a UK buyer right now, Seagate Ironwall 4 TB, 71 nicker, and again, that's got the data recovery included inside, and you can, I believe there is minimum drive purchases on that. You can't buy more than, I think it's 4, but again, you'll have to double check there, but you will, of course, need a Prime account to take advantage of that. Routers, going back to that, this is a router that I reviewed late last year, the D-Link AX5400 from the EXO series there. Again, 100 nicker for this router, and this is a good router. This is, I would say this was as closest price-wise to the Synology one that I could find. And although the software isn't as good as SRM, I would say for a Wi-Fi 6 AX router, this was a really high performance and performed very, very well. And the ports and connections, if we can bring them up on there on screen, were very, very good. It was a very capable, well-equipped router there. And for $99, it's a joke. Moving back to hard drives there, not dollars, what am I saying? Pounds there. Get your head in the game, Rob. That belongs over there with the other US ones. Me and my tabs. Then you got pounds. Going back to the UK here, WD Red Pro 12 TB. And again, as I mentioned before, the 10, 12 TB mark there, and everything after 8 TB basically is when drives get more enterprise. And 300 nicker for this drive right now outside of WD's own store is pretty darn good for a Pro Series drive. That's the key word there. This is a normal drive. It's a 7200 RPM enterprise grade drive with a 300 terabytes workload there. It's a very, very good drive. Again, sticking with UK there, back to TerraMaster again. Although it's not the 10 GBE version, this is still this is their latest generation 2-bay. So if you were considering TerraMaster, this is genuinely not even 6 or 7 weeks old since release. This is utilizing the newer generation Intel Celeron processor, 4 gig of memory there. It's got 2.5 GBE. It did quite well in our Plex Media server testing, and again, it's the current generation, and it's knocking around for 271 quid. That's including tax as well. A decent little drop. And again, if we look at the quad core one there, we can see the quad core is also on offer as well, and that's the one that we reviewed here on the channel already and did very, very well. I'm not sure if you can see it slightly out of shot there. Again, looking at UPSs, that's another thing a lot of people inquire about during Prime Day. This is probably, although it's not the best UPS on offer this Prime Day, I would argue right now this is the one, for me, ticked a lot of boxes if you're a home user. And this is the one that I'm going to buy, so you don't be surprised if you see a review of this on the channel shortly. This is a nice, compact, non-smart UPS that still features a lot of the functions and network support, so it's compatible with NAS that I could find. It's also got the USB charge port, and I'm not too sure about its configuration with NAS devices, but for 100 quid it supplies a stupid amount of power and is a great deal more portable than a number of the UPSs that I featured here on the channel. So again, this is again one of the things that I am going to buy. Not everything I'm going to buy today. There are things that I probably would buy if I didn't already have them or have reviewed them, but this one's very much coming through to check out with me after this video. Now, last thing, UK-wise, I should say, if we have a look at D-Link, D-Link have listed most of their routers on offer at the moment. They've got a bunch of camera stuff on there, and although I've already talked specifically about that router earlier on in the US store, I will highlight everything from their USB to Wi-Fi 6 adapter that I've talked about before, to a number of their own micro routers, like 20 odd quid or even 1 gig network switches for like 15 to 20 quid. They're all on offer at the moment. So if you were in the process of upgrading your network environment, it's a good time to look at a lot of their stuff. And again, all of this stuff is going to go back to that normal price for at least a month or two after this. They have to. They're kind of obliged, most companies, during these Prime Day sales. So again, if you were looking at network appliances to kind of chunk out the gaps in your network environment, chuck in D-Link there first. Let's have a little look what they got there. Now, if we head into our next area, last UK item there you go, I was absolutely wrong. We've still got another UK deal. Is this? It's the Armour ATD. I reviewed these drives around about 2.5 years ago. It was during early 2020, so again, the last 2 years is a blur for all of us for many reasons. But a 5 terabyte hard drive that's utilizing USB, that's already got that rugged rubber protection for you content creators out there. And again, it's 129 quid for 5 TB external bus powered drive. It's a no-brainer. And again, I still use the 2 TB drive that I've got here. This is a much larger scale drive, and this is on my maybe pile for whether I'm going to buy this for me, whether I need it, but I would still recommend it. Moving on, we can have a little look. Oh my god, I really did put a lot of UK deals there, and look at that. The 10 GBE NAS is on there as well. We've got the 10 GBE 5-bay Intel powered, and again, 415 quid. If we go back to that tab from earlier on where we had it in the US, we can see they've got it at $479, and the UK are able to get it right now at £415. So a lot of parity in that pricing. And again, I've used this NAS. I did get quite good performance out of it. I would argue it's an older gen CPU, hence that price. And if it was a toss-up between this or that newer gen TerraMaster, I'd probably go newer gen. But the 10 GBE is still very, very appealing for those that don't want to use the TerraMaster software, but want to plow straight on with a nice 10G server that they can experiment with and put their own software on. Now, if we have a look at Germany, one of the things that stood out for me in the German thing, and this is somewhere where I'm genuinely considering chucking some serious money for the channel. So I'm recommending this a lot for the German audience to watch these videos. Thank you so much. Guten Morgen. But at the same time, I've not reviewed this brand ever on the platform, and that's Fritz. And every time I go to a trade show outside of the UK, particularly in some of the more tech-centric areas of Europe, again, Germany, number one there, they Fritz is this enormous brand that hasn't really got much of a presence in the UK, and I want to talk about them because some of their range, as you can see, is really good. They've got some great business class Wi-Fi 6, 2.5 GB and 10G solutions there that I want to talk about on the channel, and a lot of their stuff is now on offer at the moment, so I'm probably going to take the hit and spend a few £100 on a lot of their stuff for the channel, so do stay tuned for that. But do have a little look if you're over there in Germany and, you're clearly aware of who Fritz are. Moving forward, going back to hard drives, we've got a WD Red series here, and that's the Plus Series 8TB. Earlier on, we talked about that Pro Series drive there at $302. And they have got right now €186. WD Red Plus, so that is the CMR PMR, conventional magnetic recording, perpendicular magnetic recording. There is no SMR here, and that drive is on offer right now. Moving forward over to Amazon France. Probably there wasn't as many deals in Amazon France. I was quite surprised actually, because normally at Black Friday, Amazon and a few of the other retailers at that period in France go pretty nuts. So there wasn't a huge amount. This did stand out for me though. The the Samsung 980 Pro. That's the heatsink equipped version. You can get the 1TB for €130. And I know that doesn't seem like a fantastic deal for a 1TB, but this is a really nice heatsink. We did lots of testing with PS5 and the PC. And again, this is quite a new release as well. So again, although there wasn't a huge number of deals over in Amazon France, it was a decent enough deal there. And I think if you were going to be getting an SSD, I couldn't find many better. And the Seagate and the WD and stuff like that, at the moment, very early doors in the Amazon Prime Day, it's going to go on for a couple of days. I didn't see better than this in France, but I will revisit it for the next video in the next 24 hours. Next up, WD Black. And that docking station here, this is an 8TB external docking station there, so it's got USB ports, it's got hub connectivity there, and again at 220, I know it doesn't seem like a tremendous deal, but you've got to think back to just how much we were talking about the cost of these drives, because again, 186 for that WD Red standard drive there, and the Pro Series drive was $302. And when we look at this is 224 with the 8TB installed, but with all of those docking station capabilities there. So again, there's lots of stuff you can do in that kind of half hub, half storage area there. And again, as I say, it's not a fantastic deal, but if I was recommending storage, particularly backup storage to someone during Prime Day in France, this is the one I would have recommended after looking at a lot of their listings. Again, carrying on back to Germany, I found on the subject of external storage, this one, Seagate's One Touch Portable Backup. Again, I have recommended their external drives many, many times in the past. You remember that lovely fabric one? These can all be connected to mobile phones as well over USB-C. We've tried it on several of them. And this is €96 for 5TB. Now, we've already kind of talked, haven't we, about external storage on those drives there. If we look at that SanDisk there, that was 129 for 5GB. And again, that is that rubberized protected one. So if we go back to that Seagate, €96 for a 5TB external drive. Yes, it doesn't have that rubberized coating, but that's a lot of storage. If you're backing up a NAS, that's pretty unbeatable at that price right now, whether you're looking at internal or external hard drive media. Again, hopefully more NAS stuff will come up towards the end of day one of Prime. We've noticed that before. A lot of that kind of tech isn't immediately available. But for you QNAP users over in Amazon Germany again, we've got their 2-bay expansion chassis. I've seen the 4-bay slowly start to appear as in stock when it wasn't before, which is generally a sign that items are going to be put on sale and they're reserved as stock. So hopefully some of the other expansions are going on, but the 2-bay expansion here that takes advantage of USB 3.1 Gen 2, so 10 gigabit connectivity there if you're using a modern Gen QNAP. That's some fast external storage. That's €118 for that external expansion device to increase your storage. And again, this supports pretty much all QNAP NASs, and it's got hardware RAID already pre-built in there. Going back to storage drives there, if we look at Amazon Australia, we can see the 4TB, and yes, it's $162 Australian dollars, which isn't the best deal, but much like France, a lot of the deals that are appearing in Amazon Australia aren't quite as lucrative, and I don't quite know why. I don't know if it's maybe Australian audience watching this can tell me. I don't really see many enormously impressive deals appear on the radar there. But if you are a NAS buyer looking to upgrade your storage, this was the best deal I saw in terms of NAS hard drives. And you can flutter between some of the other sizes there, but what you find is a lot of these are either not on offer at all, or they were on offer and they have run out at the time of recording. So you can see there a lot of those WDs. But it seems like the 4TB and the 6TB is where the storage is at. And finally, if you're a PS5 upgrader and you were looking for an SSD and you're in Australia, I know a lot of the videos I did on benchmarks and performance reviews of SSDs in PS5, a lot of, according to the analytics, thanks to Google, a lot of Australians were watching that. So if you are interested in upgrading the PS5, yes, there are SSDs out there in WD, Seagate and Sebrent and stuff like that, but the best deal right now was the Corsair. The Corsair MP600 LPX, something we've reviewed on the channel before. Again, $250, not the best deal, particularly for 1TB, but this was a very good SSD that was recently had its NAND and a lot of its internal components upgraded to 176 layer. So again, very good stuff there. So we're going to wrap things up. Again, do go back to this page linked in the description. I've not monetized this video. There are no ads on this video. I've just left this as is during Prime Day at least, simply because, again, this should speak for itself. Another thing, from what I understand, again, looking at stock numbers and how things get reserved, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Sebrent stuff tomorrow. And again, I will be revisiting the subject of NAS with any luck. On top of that, I'll be looking at NAS upgrades more specifically. We focused a lot on network and PS5 upgrades today, so hopefully tomorrow we'll look at something more NAS centric. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to be aware when the next video update on these deals comes out. And again, I've linked everything that we talked about today in the description, and all of the deals I've talked about are on this article, where you can add your own deals as well. And again, going through it lists a lot of different NAS brands and the hardware and things to look out for, and check if certain things are on offer. And do look out for the Amazon warehouse where further deals, I think it's like 20% off. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later on.